Hello, my name is Craig Otto. I'm presenting different concepts on operational excellence, and these are just key terms that you might hear when talking about lean manufacturing or continuous improvement or operational excellence. The first is a push production system, and the reason that's key is because with lean, you're really trying to have a pull production, and the difference being is with the push is that basically each process or each area or each office is trying to do as much as they can. And you might think that's a good thing, but it's actually not because first of all, you're only as fast as your slowest process. So basically, what's happening is, someone's keeping busy, but at some point, all the other areas are overproducing, and that leads, of course, that's a waste, and that's one of the most evil wastes because that's the one that leads to all the other ones. It leads to inventory. It leads, to defects potentially, and a whole slew of different problems that can come from that. So basically, the biggest thing here is we do not want a push production system. We don't want people trying to produce as much as they can. Um, the goal is just to produce, to an even pool so that we don't have any inventory. Product lead time is another thing you'll hear about. Basically, lead time is the total time that it takes for a unit or product or a service, to go from the beginning to the end. So that's what the lead time is called. And within there, you have a lot of value added things like the smelting, the forming, the cutting, the welding, the painting, assembling. All of that is part of it, but you also have a lot of waste, and that's the stocking and the shipping and the inspection and the just a lot of different things that add costs that can be unnecessary. Here's just an example of what I just talked about, where the green kind of shows you the value added time, the things that the customer would want, and then the other dotted background is more of the non-value added, the waste time, things like the waiting, transportation, the staging, the setup, the inspection. So basically, those extra things is what adds cost to the product. Another key concept is what you'll find is, as I mentioned in some of the other training videos, that with lean you're trying to reduce inventory. The word lean actually comes from leaning out the inventory. So when you do that, basically what that does is it brings problems to the surface. So a lot of people resist lean because you start to uncover, the problems of the process, and your ship as you sail across from start to finish will run into several of the different problems, and with lean that is the goal. You want to elevate these problems, bring them to light so that you can fix them. Otherwise, with the extra inventory, you're able to hide and work around all the different issues. So obviously, the goal is for people to understand lean will create problems, but the purpose of that is to go solve the problems. So that's why problem solving is very important. 6S, I know I mentioned this in some of the other training. That's a big, concept in terms of workplace organization and being fundamentally sound and having that stability to continuously improve. And then the last key concept of just in time. Basically, it's the way to manufacture most economically. Where you're producing what is needed, when is needed, in the amount that's needed with the minimal amount of resources. So if you hear just in time, that's what we're talking about. And that concludes our key concepts and terms.